Should be recording. What a day, guys. What an absolute day. It has been a day. Honestly, it has to be the most dysfunctional, chaotic, unorganized day that I've had all year. Not a single thing went to plan as scheduled originally. And it was very much a case of I just had to kind of cop it on the head or cop it on the chin. It started off with a terrible night's sleep. Kept waking up, was quite restless. I had to get up earlier anyway this morning because I had a podcast scheduled with a friend of mine over in the States. He lives in Denver, so the time zone difference. He was only available for a podcast between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. my time. And usually I get up later because I go to bed later. I start my day later, I finish my day later. But I made an exception because I really wanted to chat to Tanner, and I've been trying to arrange this for quite some time. So that kind of went to the shitter because I woke up, went to the toilet, no pun intended, and the day just kind of went shit from there. The power went out, so I had a power outage when I was on the toilet this morning. I thought to myself, maybe it's my power bill, maybe I've missed a power bill that I didn't pay, so I checked and there was a power bill, so I went and paid it, but it wasn't that. Turns out the entire street was out. There was a power outage on the entire street that we're on. So that didn't come on for a while. I had a hospital appointment at 10:30 in the morning. So the partner and I, as soon as I had to can and reschedule the podcast because I had no power at home to basically work my desktop computer and do the podcast, we decided to pack our bag. I took my laptop, she took her laptop, and we went to a coffee shop near the hospital. So we went there, did some work, I did some emails, a little bit of stuff that I needed to finish off yesterday, and she did her stuff, her work, and then it was time for me to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, I was there on time. My doctor was late to my appointment, and that kind of screwed up the rest of my day because I had planned in advance to train with a friend of mine, Ben. He owns a gym over here called BPC Gym, and we were due to train at 1 p.m. and that had to be cancelled as well because I wasn't going to make it due to the late arrival of my doctor to my appointment. Now I understand if you're late to your doctor's appointment, the doctor has every right to be late to the appointment as well, but I was a bit pissed off that I was there very punctual 20 minutes before it started, or 20 minutes before it was meant to start, and she was 25 minutes late to the appointment. So I ended up getting out of the hospital 40 minutes later than I anticipated, and yeah, that just ruined up the flow of my day. So cancelled the midday training session with Ben, went home, I felt absolutely wrecked. So after that I had some lunch, I had a nap, and I pretty much woke up, walked to the gym, and as soon as I got to the gym, I got my camera out of my bag to start recording, like I usually do right now, and I forgot my SD card. Thought to myself, shit, there's no way I'm walking back home, getting the SD card and then coming back to the gym. So I thought to myself, I'll order an SD card online and get it delivered today to the gym so I can basically record my session and get on with it. And that's what I did. So fast forward 40 minutes later, here we are, I'm finally recording. And that's the day that I've had. But it just goes to show you can plan and prepare and be as punctual as you want to be. But sometimes life will just throw you a curveball and just say, yeah, you know what, screw you. And you've just got to adapt to it on the fly. So that's the kind of day I've had. I've just had to adapt to the day on the fly. And we're still here getting it done. It's just after 6 p.m. now, so I'm going to go in there, do my deload push session. Nice low volume, quite easy. So that's, I suppose, the silver lining to the situation, despite the day going kind of pear-shaped and tits over ass. I don't have a long session. I just have to go in there, do 2 working sets on, I believe it's 4 or 5 exercises in total. So I think it's 5, yeah. So actually, I think it's 3 or 4 exercises and 3 sets on each exercise, 2 to 3 sets on each exercise. Works out to be about 10 to 12 total sets. I'll have to pull it up on my phone when I'm in there, but nice, quick, convenient, efficient session. Get in, get out, get home, shower, eat, and pretty much get ready for the podcast tonight because I'll be doing a podcast with Kurt, and then I'll be doing the podcast with all the boys, the Anabolic Bodybuilding podcast, which I'm really looking forward to. I definitely look forward to that every Saturday. That's kind of like my highlight to my Saturdays. And yeah, that's pretty much what's on my agenda. So 8 to 9 p.m. podcast with Kurt, and then midnight to about 1:30 in the morning podcast with Paul and the boys. So looking forward to it, I'll say that. But it's going to be a big day, a long day, because I did get up at, 6 a.m. this morning on Saturday. So 6 a.m. until I won't be going to bed till at least 2:30 in the morning tomorrow. So that's a long day, if you ask me. But I'll make an exception tomorrow. I'll sleep in. Don't like sleeping in, but I'll just do it tomorrow because I think I'll need it. And then start the day a little bit later, get on with it, and then make sure that everything's kind of all in order, all my ducks are in a row, so I can start the new week fresh and on point, on time, and punctual. Yeah, enough rambling. I'm going to get in there, do the session. I'll see you guys in there. Whew. I think that's about right. Maybe one notch higher. There we go. So yeah, when you use this machine, you want to make sure that your shoulders are kind of in alignment with the pivot point of the arms on this machine. That's a good rule of thumb. Somewhere in the proximity of that, like height-wise, you're pretty sweet. So to put things into perspective, volume-wise, this week for the deload session, 4 exercises, 3 sets per exercise. So instead of doing 2 tricep movements, I'm just doing 1. Instead of reducing the volume on both, I'm just dropping the overhead extension completely. So laterals, press downs, dips, and converging chest press. So with the laterals, I did 15 reps at 150 last week. So this week I'll just aim for 12 to 13 and call it there. If it feels very easy though, we'll go beyond that. But if it's feeling pretty on par with how it felt last week, I'll just cut it there, so it's at least 3 reps in reserve. On smaller movements like this, you can go a little bit closer to failure in a deload week in my opinion, but bigger movements like presses, rows, like hinges, like heavy hinging movements like RDLs, you definitely want to stay at 3 to 4 reps from failure in my opinion, the majority of the time. There's exceptions to the rule, but if you're quite fatigued and you do need a deload, it's safest to kind of stay clear of failure with that kind of a proximity. With things like this, you can go 2 reps in reserve and you're still pretty sweet. 2 to 3 reps in reserve. I wouldn't go like 1 to 2 reps in reserve. That's a little bit too hard for a deload week, I reckon. But again, it's context specific. There is certain instances where you might keep intensity or effort matched to a normal week of training in a deload week if you are reducing volume enough, that is. Shoulders feel like shit. Definitely going to leave it at 12 today. 2 sets to go. And you know what? I know I've always said that I really like the Concord grape flavoured EAAs from Optimum Nutrition, but the blue raspberry ones are actually starting to grow on me. I never thought they were bad, don't get me wrong, but I think they're actually starting to become my favourite flavour. Actually, that's a lie. I think green apple is probably going to come just before this, actually, because I have to say I really do like the green apple flavoured EAAs. I haven't bought them for a while, so I'll have to get those next time. But yeah, definitely going to stay in the rotation between the Concord grape, the green apple, and the blue raspberry. They're by far the only decent flavours of EAAs from Optimum Nutrition. If you like watermelon, you're a weirdo. If you like any of those like citrus flavours, you're a psychopath, I think. And if you like cherry, then I hate to break it to you, you kind of messed up in the head. Like cherry, anything never tastes good. The only thing cherry related that tastes good in my opinion is a cherry ripe. A cherry ripe candy bar is good, or chocolate bar, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, aside from that, I can't think of a single thing cherry flavored that tastes good. I don't even like cherries, to be honest. But I guess to each their own. Some people might think I'm a weirdo. Yeah, this tastes pretty good. All right, second set. Now you can probably tell from my face, it's definitely apparent that the mini cut's setting in now. Like, I mean, I'm starting to get that sunken in face that you usually get kind of that midpoint in prep, if you're not too fat, that is. I mean, a lot of people never get conditioned enough for stage, let's be real, but if you're on track for getting proper stage conditioned, usually that kind of like midway point, or like 2/3 of the way into prep, you start to see that skeletal face sink in and come through. I've started to notice that the last couple of days, which is nice. I honestly like it because it's never a good feeling when you get into peak off season. You've got that off season bloat from all the carbohydrates and your face is full of water, but in saying that as well, it's kind of a necessary evil. Like, you can't expect to remain pretty year round and grow, but you also don't want to let yourself go to complete shit. You want to keep your body composition in check, have some pride for God's sake, and just keep body fat levels in a kind of controlled range. If you're a guy, personally, I think bulking wise, there's no reason to go over 15%. And most people can honestly stay below 13% and still see good, consistent, linear gains in muscle growth. I think when body fat gets too high, it's not just what I think, it's also what the literature suggests and supports. As body fat levels get higher and higher, the ability to build muscle consistently over time starts to diminish. Like, your body performs better in a specific range when it comes to body fat, both in terms of recovery and also growth. And so I think it's really important that you kind of stay within that, what I like to call Goldilocks zone, which I tend to find is between 7 and 15% body fat for most males, and then for females a bit higher, kind of like 10 or 12 to 18% body fat, sometimes as high as 20% body fat, but very rare do you need to be over 20% body fat as a female to grow and to be healthy, and it's very rare that you need to be over 13% body fat to be healthy as a male or to grow optimally. Again, exceptions to the rule, like as high as 15 I would say for some males, but then again, a lot of it just comes down to like how out of shape do you want to get and how far away from stage conditioning do you want to be. Because the further away you are, the more challenging contest prep's going to be next time you prep. That's why I like to keep all my guys, all my athletes, within a pretty good striking distance of their stage conditioning or their stage weight year round. Like, in terms of pounds, I don't like to really see, unless if someone's trying to move from, say, classics to opens, I don't like to see somebody sitting anywhere further than, say, 30 pounds north of their stage weight or their postulated stage weight. So if you competed, say, your last show at 200 pounds, off season, you probably, in a single off season, you probably shouldn't be getting heavier than 230 pounds. Otherwise, you're just making the job harder for yourself. Again, some people can put on enough tissue to the point that that isn't an issue, but for the average person who has like an average rate of growth, I would say getting north of that is probably becoming a little bit counterproductive. But yeah, really it's context specific again. I'm gonna stop rambling and do the last set. So I just did one quick warm-up set with this, like about 60% of the working weight. And now I'm going to do the first working set. Same weight as last week, obviously, just scaling the reps back a little bit and shaving 1 to 2 sets off. Well, actually only shaving 1 set off because I'm skipping an entire tricep exercise, so I'm kind of halving the volume by just skipping 1 of the 2 exercises. It's the same number of sets as last week, that is, to be completely accurate. Not bad, 11 reps, so yes, 2 reps down from last week, but it felt about 3 or 4 reps in reserve. Three reps in reserve if I'm being more accurate, I guess. So 2 more of these, and then on to dips, first chest exercise of the session. Which kind of doubles actually as a chest and tricep exercise, to be completely fair. Final set. Actually surprised myself in that last one. 12 reps, didn't think I'd get that. I tell you what, out of all the DOMs that I'm currently feeling, chest DOMs are probably the worst. Like, I haven't trained chest since Monday, and it feels like I just trained it yesterday. And I'm in a deload week, so that was an easy chest session that I did on Monday as well. But I guess it just goes to show how much fatigue I've accumulated from not having a deload for 16 weeks. I still can't believe that it's been that long. It blows my mind. But I mean, in saying that, I've probably been able to string it out that long without a deload because of the fact that A, I've been in a deficit the last 5 to 6 weeks, and B, prior to that deficit starting, I was in a maintenance phase. So I haven't really been in a surplus. I haven't really had an excess of calories to kind of really drive a lot of training performance. So I probably haven't been accumulating as much fatigue as I would if I was, say, in a surplus this entire time. If that was the case, I probably would have had to deload about 5 or 6 weeks in, or best case scenario, 8 weeks in maybe. Sometimes I find I can push it, say, 10 or 12 weeks without a deload, but I've never been able to push it this long. 16 weeks is just well overdue. I think if I had have deloaded 2 to 3 weeks ago, it probably would have been ideal. If I did that, then I wouldn't be in this recovery hole that I'm in currently. But it is what it is. You just got to deal with it. And if I have to extend my deload into next week and say do a 10-day deload instead of a 7-day deload, so be it. Third and final set. I just had a quick peek on my phone, and one of my guys, one of my athletes, he posted his 30-minute post-prandial blood glucose level, so like 30 minutes post-meal, on his Instagram story earlier today. And I replied to it. I said, let's see what it is in 2 hours post-prandial, so 2 hours after the meal. And I had a guess that it'd be 5.3 millimole per litre, and he had a guess that it'd be, what was it, 4.9. It ended up being 5.2. So pretty crazy to think that I was literally 0.1 of a millimole off the actual blood glucose level. How's that for an accurate guess? Yeah, on to the final set now. And then the last exercise of the session I can get out of here. Because there's a lot of flogs in the gym tonight, I tell you that. Alrighty. So these, I believe I only got about 10 or 11 reps per set last week on this weight, so I think I'll shoot for 8 and then auto-regulate it from there based on how it feels. If it feels really hard, I'll leave it at 8. If it's feeling a bit easier than last week, I'll maybe push for maybe 9 reps. But yeah, just to give you a bit of an idea as to kind of what I'm shooting for before I do the first set. Yeah, 3 of these and then it's home time. I swear there is like a good 5 or so people here that I clearly do not train legs. Like they've got pretty well developed upper bodies and they've got like no legs. It blows my mind. I don't understand how you can go to the gym and just work your upper body. I honestly think the only acceptable time you can have small legs is if you're small overall and you're just getting started in the gym. If you've been training clearly for a few years and you've got small legs, you train like a fucking pussy. It's as simple as that. And we got a few of those in the gym tonight. Okay, second set. See if I can get in position before I press up so I can count the press up as the first rep. Just gotta make sure my scaps are even. All right. Okay, that was an incredibly long rest period, but saying that, I had some important business to take care of. I had to order some groceries because by the time I finish this session, walk home, have a shower and stuff, it will be about 45 minutes or so. And so if I order groceries now, they'll be basically at my hotel lobby or at my building's lobby about 10 minutes after I have a shower and get dressed. So it's perfect timing if you ask me. So I figured I'd just jump on my phone and do that quickly before I do this last set, because it is a D-lead week anyway, so extra rest, extra recovery. It isn't a negative, it's only a positive. I just had to get some ground chicken breast for me, some skinless chicken breast for my partner. I should say for my fiance, not my partner. It's a bit of a downgrade term. So my fiance, and what else? Egg whites, frozen blueberries, just the usual shit that I eat day in, day out. Alrighty, time to head home.